Hello, everyone. It is Elena Bogomaz, your mortgage professional. Our guest today is Carl Rumanek, a chartered professional accountant and a licensed insolvency trustee in Ontario. Carl is the founder and president of Rumanek and Company Limited. His company services individual and corporate clients who have debt issues that need to be resolved. Hi, Carl. How are you today?
I'm fine, Elena, and how are you doing in this pandemic?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation and speak to me today. We have several questions from clients who are in difficult situation right now. So if I can ask you, what do you recommend to someone who either lost a job or their job is on hold right now because of the COVID-19? They're hardly making ends meet, their living expenses are keeping growing, and the credit cards are pretty much maxed out. Is it anything they should be doing right now?
There's a number of things that people can do. First of all, I've had a few people who have actually moved into another job sort of similar to what they were doing. I actually had a waitress get a job as a chef in another restaurant doing takeout. So sometimes a change of job is the answer. Sometimes a job can be similar to the job that you're in now. Sometimes it could be something totally different. I think as well, employees have to keep in touch with their employer to find out when they could be coming back. I suspect that they're going to start opening gymnasiums soon because from what I understand in the last 48 hours, apparently the spread of the coronavirus is not coming out of gymnasiums. It's coming out of other areas like schools and long-term care facilities. As well, I've been recommending to some people who have spoken to me that they take a look at what their expenses are. In other words, if you're working at home or not working at all, a number of car insurance companies are allowing you to pay by the kilometer instead of an annual premium, and maybe look at reducing your living expenses and go literally towards the only thing that makes any sense. And I think as well, if you phone the credit card companies and explain your circumstances, you might find that they're agreeable that, hey, we'll defer the payments. We'll just add the interest every month, but we won't cut you off.
Excellent. Excellent recommendation. Do you think your answer will be different if the same person owns the house?
Depends on the value of the house. I think a lot of times you can get, if you own a house and you've got equity in it, you could go to your bank and get a secured line of credit attached to your house, which is basically the same as a second mortgage, except that you can draw down it as you need it. Like a second mortgage, if you go to your bank and they say, okay, we'll approve you, I don't know, for $10,000 on your second mortgage, they will write you a check for the $10,000 less the legal fees and mortgage costs. And then you're paying interest on that whole $10,000, even though you might have only needed $1,000. With a secured line of credit, I think you're a little bit better off, because if you only need $1,000, that's all you borrow. That's all you're paying the interest on. Now, there is a higher cost with a secured line of credit. I know that the mortgage rates, like a first mortgage right now is, I think last time I looked, it was about 1.89%. A secured line of credit is about 2.95%, but a second mortgage is 6, 7, or 8%. So it still makes sense.
Excellent. And just to conclude our conversation, I wanted to ask you, like in general, people who have financial difficulties, what would you recommend them in general, not necessarily due to COVID? Would they contact you, or what can you offer them?
Well, we offer a no cost first initial interview up to an hour in length. just to review their situation, to see what we can give them in the way of a recommendation. And the reason why we do that is there's a huge difference in what people think and what is actually in the law. For instance, if you are going bankrupt, the only part of an RRSP that you lose to your creditors is the payments that you've made to your RSP in the 12 months before the bankruptcy. If you've got an RESP, like an education savings plan for your children, it's not exempt whether you do a bankruptcy or a consumer proposal. If you've been a student in the last 7 years, any debt for OSAP, which is the Ontario Students Awards Program, or the Federal Student Loans Program, that 7-year mark is carved in stone. It's the date you cease to be a student. If it's within 7 years, the debt survives both a bankruptcy and a proposal. If you've been out of school and you cease to be a student more than 7 years ago, then the debt can be included in a proposal or a bankruptcy. And we look at houses. Is there equity in the house? Is there not equity in a house? So it takes a good hour to determine whether or not somebody should even consider a bankruptcy, which I consider be the last thing you do, or do a consumer proposal, or do some other settlement with your creditors.
That's an excellent point. And I also wanted to add, even if clients went through the bankruptcy or consumer proposal, as soon as it is discharged, they already can start looking for another property if they can afford it. But thank you very much, Carl. If you could kindly just give us an idea how people can find you, maybe give us a telephone number, and then if somebody has any questions, how they can reach you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. My personal cell number is 416-930-5326. Given COVID-19 and working out of the office, I've been using my cell phone for 8 months now. My office number is 416-665-3328. And that allows people to book an appointment at any of our 16 locations in Southern Ontario, or they can go to our website, which is basically www.rumanek.com.
Perfect. Excellent.
Or they can contact you.
Exactly. They always can contact me, and my number will be listed under this video. But thank you very much, Carl. Thank you for your valid advice, and thank you very much for your time today.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Carl. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.